Monthly board meeting of the Ambridge Area School District Board of Directors on Wednesday, September 18, 2019 is now called to order. Please rise for the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This meeting is being recorded for district purposes. It is or may be published in part or in its entirety on the district's website without the express permission of meeting participants. The opinions expressed by any member of the public do not necessarily reflect the view or opinion of the Ambridge Area School District Board of School Directors or the Ambridge Area School District, and are solely that of the speaker. The Ambridge Area School District Board of School Directors hereby expressly disclaims any and all responsibility or liability for any false, defamatory, or slanderous statements expressed by the speaker. May I have a roll call, please?
Yes. Mrs. Fisher?
Here.
Mrs. Kehoe?
Here.
Mr. Coe?
Here.
Mrs. Locker?
Here.
Mrs. Mylan?
Here.
Mrs. Pedigo?
Here.
Mr. Sass?
Here.
Mr. Weir? Mr. Angus?
Here.
8 present.
Thank you. Could we have the Sunshine Law, please?
Section 708 of the Sunshine Law permits agencies to hold executive sessions to discuss employment and personnel matters, labor relations and arbitration matters, purchase or lease of real estate up to the time an option or agreement is obtained, litigation or potential litigation, legal matters subject to attorney-client privilege and other agency business, which, if discussed in public, would violate lawful privilege or would violate confidentiality laws. The Board of School Directors held an executive session on Wednesday, September 11 to discuss employment and personnel matters, salary schedule and labor relations, matters subject to attorney-client privilege.
And as a matter of clarification, those exceptions apply to the executive session that was held immediately prior to this meeting on Wednesday, September 18th.
Okay. Thank you. Any correspondence this evening?
No correspondence.
At this time, can I have a motion to accept or correct the minutes of the August 14th meet and discuss voting meeting, the August 14th non-voting meeting, and the August 21st board meeting?
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Mylan. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Coe. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. At this time, may I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report dated August 2019?
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Walker. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Mylan. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Are there any amendments to the addendum or agenda for this evening that need to be approved? Hearing none, we'll move forward. I just have one item to notate this evening, that Mrs. Mylan has resigned as the chair of the PR committee, effective as of this meeting, and I will be looking for volunteers from the rest of the board to take over that committee for us going forward.
Well, this is exciting for me because I did get to watch the volleyball boys last spring. Come on out. I'll have you guys all stand out here, and then I'll introduce you. I'll just read off all the names, okay? Look at you. This group of boys last spring achieved Whitfield Championship, this back-to-back championships, and they placed third in the state in the PIAA. And it was an extraordinarily fun season. Now, they're not all here tonight because they're busy and some are gone, but I'm gonna read all the names, and then, where's Brett?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. I'm going to read all the names, and then when your name comes up, just step out. Jake Gorman, David Brock, David's gone to college, David Stugen, Jonathan Ciani, Levi Baker, Caleb Zimkowitz, Dorian Pretty, Aaron Hilsendigger, Kevin Rodoff, Reed Fisher, Josh Hovan, Nathan Norton, Trey Smith, Zach Gardner, Josh Meyer, Jacob Kotula, Brett Mueller, Tom Swaney, Liam Buck, Hudson McGeorge, Ronan Cottrell, and Austin Merlino. Good job. Now, we're going to read just a couple more. Their varsity record was 9-1. They placed first overall in the Section 2A. All section teams. First team, David Brock, Liam Buck, Dorian Pretty, and second team, Aaron Hilsedigger, Josh Meyer, and Kevin Rodoff. Co-MVP in the Whippeal, Liam Buck. All Whippeal teams, first team, Liam Buck, Dorian Pretty, second team, Josh Meyer, third team, David Brock, and Kevin Rodoff. All state team, Liam Buck, Dorian Pretty, and Kevin Rodoff. Coach Freed was not able to be here this evening. He had a family emergency. I cannot tell you guys personally, I used to be a volleyball coach, how much fun it is and was to watch you play, and I look forward to the upcoming season, and I know that you're already working hard. So thank you so much for the enjoyment and the wins. Don't say anything about my picture taking. My son. Squish together. Yes, yes, do. How cute. This is where my son yells at me. Okay, thanks, guys. Thanks for coming. They have a lot of fun, too. Okay, now the next group I get to introduce to you is equally as fun. These are all of our new teachers. Not all of them, they couldn't all be here, but the majority of them. I have to say it was a mad rush from about July through the end of August to get folks hired. It's a pretty stringent interview process, and we picked some winners, and I love you guys. And it's, you know, the first day of school is the first day of school. They're in like everybody else. They're thrown in the deep water. They have mentors, but they're thrown in the deep water. So I think I've been in everybody's classrooms. I've seen you a couple times. Mallory has the best smelling classroom. She wins the prize. Okay, Madeline Blosser, Courtney Parisi, you guys have to come up. Come on, Courtney. Courtney, and I don't know that I can tell you where they all are, but I know Courtney's at Highland in pre-K. And Mr. Angus, when you hit your hammer, she jumped.
I wasn't ready for that.
Madeline is family, are you?
No, I'm learning support at Highland.
Oh, that's right, okay, I'm sorry. Cassidy Ruski, he was our Ruska. Oh, she misspelled it.
No, it's all good.
Okay, Ruska. I think he was hired one day before school started.
1.5, let's be fair.
He's at the middle school, and his kids are up and moving. Every time I've been in there, they're up and moving, and they're working in groups. Sophia Craigie is not here. She's kindergarten at Economy. Alyssa Greco is not here. Stephanie Busey. Stephanie is special ed in Highland. Matt Laporte, and Matt is phys ed at Highland, and you are approving him this evening as the head baseball coach. You see, a coach gets more positive. Jennifer Axe. Jennifer worked as a long-term substitute at the high school in art last year, and now she is at the middle school and travels up here a couple periods a day. I haven't seen you up here. You're here. Yeah, I know you. Stacy Marenko. Stacy is Family and Consumer Science at the middle school. Tim Burrish. Tim is 5th grade at Highland. Alexandra Torres. Scott Setzenfand, he hasn't been released from his other school district. Emily Maddox. And 2 of our long-term subs, Marissa Narrows is in 2nd grade at State Street, and Mallory Acamando is 4th grade at State Street. We appreciate all you guys are doing for kids, and we know that it's not easy. Kim?
He was not able to be here tonight, so I just want to read something real quickly, if I can find it and see it.
You want my glasses?
I'm gonna try. Okay, no, I'm good. Dan Finnegan is a resident of Harmony Township and the widow of former teacher in the district, Dawn Finnegan. Dawn dedicated 35 years to the district, retiring in 2006, and lost her battle to ALS in 2015. Her passion in education was math and science. Dan decided to have her love for education live on with our current elementary STEAM program. He made a commitment to honor Dawn by donating $2,000 a year for 5 years to the STEAM program. This is the 3rd year, and our program has greatly benefited from his generosity. His hopes are to give the children more opportunities in math and science fields. Thank you, Dan, for your commitment to our students and to our district.
Alrighty, at this time, district residents may come forward to comment on agenda items only. Each person must state their first and last name and address prior to speaking. Each resident will be allowed 3 minutes and can speak only once. The period for public comment prior to the standing committee reports will be limited to 1/2 hour. Although not required, board members desiring to address questions or concerns may do so after the resident's comment or question or at the conclusion of the committee reports. There will still be an opportunity for residents to comment on any business relevant to the Ambridge Area School District under old and new business at the end of the meeting. So the floor is now open for anyone who wants to comment on any agenda item this evening. Okay. Seeing no one, we'll move forward with the committees. Mrs. Pettigo, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Under Education and Technology, I move for the adoption of items 1 through 4, please.
I have a motion for items 1 through 4 under Education and Technology. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Walker. Is there any discussion on items 1 through 4? If not, roll call, please.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mrs. Kehoe?
Yes.
Mr. Koval?
Yes.
Mrs. Locker?
Yes.
Mrs. Mylan?
Yes.
Ms. Pettigo?
Yes.
Mr. Sass?
Yes.
Mr. Angus?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next committee would be Finance and Budget. Mr. Sass, please.
Thank you. The 5 items, I first wish to point out item number 5. It relates to the Allison Park Church, which moved into a satellite campus down on 2nd and Merchant. The pastor, Thomas Manning, has very generously paid off the student lunch debt of students within the district of $1,349, and we acknowledge that contribution by that new entity in the borough. Also related to item number 4, if you recall, it was tabled. There was some communication that the school district elected to participate in the LERTA program, the Local Economic Revitalization Tax Program. However, it is at each entity's own discretion whether they can or cannot accept participation for a specific entity. So the school district does have the ability to choose whether to advance the abatement request by this entity or not to. So with that, I would actually, I think, like to segregate the voting. I first move for the acceptance of items 1 through 3, which are the traditional approval of monthly bills, salaries for the cafeteria and general fund, along with the repository settlements as notated.
All right, thank you, Mr. Sass. I have a motion on the floor for items 1 through 3 under Finance and Budget. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Kehoe. Is there any discussion on items 1 through 3?
I guess it includes also item 5, or the acceptance of the gift. I apologize.
Mr. Sass is amended to item 5 also. Mrs. Kehoe, will you second that also?
Yes.
Thank you. Then again, discussion on items 1 through 5. Roll call on items 1 through 5.
Mrs.
1 through 3 and 5, not 3. Sorry.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mrs. Kehoe?
Yes.
Mr. Koval?
Yes.
Mrs. Locker?
Yes.
Mrs. Mylan?
Yes.
Ms. Pettigo?
Yes.
Mr. Sass?
Yes.
Mr. Angus?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Mr. Sass, I'll turn it back over to you for item 4.
With that, item 4 relates to the request of an abatement of taxes. The existing LERTA agreement allows us for lack of a better term, new construction within the confines of the district to receive a tax abatement. The tax abatement is outlined by the LERTA agreement. It is 100% for years 1 and 2, 75% for year 3, 50% for year 4, and 25% for year 5, where it approximates a little over 300 and some odd percent, or a little over 3 years worth of tax abatement. Very much appreciate the parent day. It is on the same day as the board meeting. My understanding of the revitalization agreement is one of incentivization to bring new businesses into the confines of the district, knowing that there is an exchange of tax abatement as an inducement to bring those entities into the district. Some of that interest by the district is either the property taxes associated with new construction, the wage taxes associated with job creation, et cetera, and so forth. So on a long-term basis, it is beneficial to the district. In many cases, it relates to blighted properties or properties that have not been actively on the rent rolls from a tax standpoint for many years. We recently did not pass a LERTA request for a development within the H.H. Robertson site. I don't know what the technical term is for it. The Economy Park, industrial park development. The board chose not to participate in that LERTA request several months ago. This property, to my understanding, is also within the confines of the Economy Business Park. It is for a, I think the gentleman said, a mini storage complex. There's going to be one job created as a result of that. It may already be on construction. I'm not aware if it's ground broken or not. So with that, I put it up to the board. The board asked for some discussion of the legality of the participation in LERTA. We have the electability of participating or not.
I have a question. Because there's already been a precedent set through the county as well as the borough, are we obligated in any way to follow suit?
No, as a legal matter, you are not.
No.
And the LERTA, the benefit granted, should this action item pass, it's on the value of the improvement. So you'll continue to get the same taxes as you did, presumably, unless the assessment changes strangely on the land. It's just a matter of the improvements, which I'm not certain what the value of the self-storage will ultimately net in terms of an assessment change. But the tax abatement that you're discussing relates only to the improvements made to the land.
I do have one more question. Approximately how much are we looking at in tax monies for the 3 years cumulative?
You don't know because you don't know the assessment of the new construction.
Okay. So it's only for the building.
Right.
The land will stay on the tax rolls for us.
Correct. Okay.
I mean, for me, it's only creating one job. I think it's really important. Like, when I'm thinking about this, is it going to work towards the revitalization? I don't know. I mean, we heard from the owner at the meet and discussed that they are committing to using local vendors. So just a couple of points that I think are important to consider. But I don't know, I hesitate providing an abatement when it doesn't seem like there's a lot of jobs being created. Just my thoughts.
When we agreed to this in the past, it was that we were going to look at it on a case-by-case basis, depending on what it was. I'm for the improvements, but 6 years to pay the taxes at the full rate, I think is a little bit too long. So I'm going to be voting no on that. If it was a shorter amount of time, I would probably support that, but not 6 years.
Do we have the autonomy to rearrange the schedule?
No.
No, so the schedule as it's presented, the 100, 100, 75, okay, needs to be.
Yeah, now I'm thinking, and I think if you were to grant alerta of a different duration than you've already approved by motion, we would have to have a new document.
It's part of the ordinance that was approved.
Correct.
Okay. So I know in the past, there are several other entities that we have said no to that actually did generate jobs. Several, as a matter of fact, and just because of the financial situation that this district is in.
Any other discussion on item number 4? Do I have a motion to put item number 4 up for a vote?
I make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Sass. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Mrs. Walker. I have a motion and a second. I'm assuming all discussion is over at this point, and I'll call for a roll call, please.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mrs. Kehoe?
No.
Mr. Koho?
No.
Mrs. Walker?
No.
Mrs. Mylan?
No.
Ms. Pettigo?
No.
Mr. Sass?
No.
Mr. Angus?
No.
Motion failed.
Thank you. Building and grounds, Mr. Cowell.
The paving project at Economy Elementary is underway. There will be an inconvenience on parking and drop-off for a few weeks. Please contact the building principal, Aphrodite Litzis, or Doug McCausland with any concerns.
All right. Thank you. Mrs. Fisher, anything under athletics this evening?
Nothing to report this evening.
All right. Under public relations, there is nothing also to report this evening. Steering and rules, Mrs. Kehoe, please.
I move for the adoption of items 1 through 7.
I have a motion on the floor for items 1 through 7. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Cowell. Is there any discussion on items 1 through 7? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mrs. Kehoe?
Yes.
Mr. Koho?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mrs. Mylan?
Yes.
Ms. Pettigo?
Yes.
Mr. Sass?
Yes.
Mr. Angus?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Under legislative, Mrs. Kehoe also, please.
I'd like to move for the adoption of items number 1.
I have a motion for item number 1 under legislative. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Walker. Do we have any discussion on item 1? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mrs. Kehoe?
Yes.
Mr. Koho?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mrs. Mylan?
Yes.
Ms. Pettigo?
Yes.
Mr. Sass?
Yes.
Mr. Angus?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next would be salary schedule and labor relations. Mr. Weir is not with us this evening, and there are also no voting items, so we'll move on to personnel. Mrs. Walker, please.
Thank you, Mr. Angus. I move for the adoption of items 1 through 34 as presented.
I have a motion on the floor for items 1 through 34 under personnel. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Mylan. Is there any discussion on items 1 through 34? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mrs. Kehoe?
Yes.
Mr. Koho?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mrs. Mylan?
Yes.
Ms. Pettigo?
Yes.
Mr. Sass?
Yes.
Mr. Angus?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Anything from the solicitor this evening?
We did end our executive session, we wanted to make sure all of the volleyball families got acknowledged on time. And so to the extent that the board wants to continue discussing pending personnel matters and attorney-client privilege matters, it'd be appropriate at the end of the meeting to make a motion to adjourn to executive session for those purposes.
Thank you. Dr. Walter?
Nothing else.
Okay, old and new business. It is now time for old and new business. Any district resident who desires to comment on any business relevant to the Ambridge Area School District should now come forward. Each person must state their first and last name and address prior to speaking. Each person will be allowed 3 minutes and can speak only once.
Hello, my name is Jody Gill. I live at 909 11th Street here in Ambridge. I just have a few questions for the board. My first question, is Sherry Berg, the public relations person employed by the school district, making Facebook posts on behalf of the Ambridge Area School District?
On our Facebook page, on the school's Facebook page, that's where she posts.
Okay, my next question. So the answer is yes. Is Sherry Berg making posts on behalf of the Ambridge Area School District using the fake profile J.C. Devonte in any capacity on Facebook?
No idea.
If investigations and/or legal discovery shall find that Sherry Berg is in fact using a fake profile of J.C. Devonte to post on Facebook on behalf of the Ambridge Area School District or regarding matters of the Ambridge Area School District, will this board take appropriate action to remove Sherry Berg and/or take other action appropriate, including any legal action regarding any posts made by Sherry Berg as J.C. Devonte, which may be defamatory in nature?
And that is difficult because that was a very long question, and I'm not certain that I caught all the elements of it. But
If legal discovery or any other outside or possibly criminal investigations shall discover that Sherry Berg, who is an employee of the Ambridge Area School District in public relations capacity, is making posts using a fake profile named J.C. Devonte, will this board take legal action?
So Ms. Berg is a contractor on behalf of the borough, or on behalf of the district, to the extent that there is any reason, legal or otherwise, that they wish to discontinue that relationship. I'm sure we would do so after evaluation.
So, in recent media outlets, we have seen that Sherry Berg has an Ambridge Area School District email, which would be contrary to what is on the Ambridge Area District website and contrary to the indication of an independent contractor. So I would like further discussion about her actual role then.
So the purpose of public comment is for you to deliver your comments, and I think the board is very interested in hearing all of those, and typically what happens is they then synthesize that, take it back.
I can form it in the form, phrase it in the form of a comment.
And take appropriate action, but so please feel free to
So
do
to rephrase, when one is considered an independent contractor, which it is my understanding Sherry Berg is with regards to this school district, I am confused as to why an independent contractor whose email is provided on the school website with an independent contractor, independent email address, is sending emails on behalf of the school district and the superintendent using an Ambridge Area email. So I'm wondering why an independent contractor would have an Ambridge Area School District email address.
Thank you.
I would like the answer.
I don't have an answer for it.
So there is no answer?
Nope.
All right. Thank you.
I didn't know that was going on.
Hi, I'm Tracy O'Bratton, and I live at 820 Kerr Street in Ambridge, and my 3 children attend this district. In light of everything that has been going on with the district, and I'm just going to say the kid got tased. I have and do a lot of outreach with the youth. They come to me quite a bit. And they have fear, and they are uncomfortable, and they feel unsafe. And my children included, and my children come from a very stable home, and they have parents that are involved fully, and they are weary at school because of the division that is being said. If the kid would have this, or if the kid would have done that, that's said, done, and gone. You can't undo it. You can't unsee it. The people that were there, the kids that were there saw that. They will never unsee that. I feel something needs to be done immediately to unify these children. I think something needs to be done to diffuse the tension, because when I tell you that I've experienced it within this school district, when racial divide happens, nobody here is going to be able to undo it. And when I tell you it won't even be another school year that it'll get worse, it will not get better, because the fear that are in these children's hearts, it's going to be irreparable. There needs to be somebody available for these kids to talk to. Somebody on a medium ground, not a police officer, not somebody who understands these kids that they feel safe coming to. Because better believe when they walk into these doors, they are divided. It is the elephant in the room that I don't think anybody wanted to address. They are divided. The black children feel that they're not safe. The white children feel that if he would have stopped, that can't be the way these kids are surviving in the district. Something needs to be done to bring that back together before this is beyond repair. And I see it before me. Since this has happened Friday, I have had a multitude of children come to me. And I'm bringing it to you guys, because you guys are the only ones that could bring that change. And I'm hoping that this is being heard And I hope that we can be proactive instead of reactive.
That's all.
Thank you.
Rich Buffalini, 1960 Wash Hill Drive, Ambridge, PA. My son Richie attends school here, and we have been trying to get him into New Horizons. He's in a special needs program, and our intent all along, since in 2018, we started the process and we decided to stay with Ambridge, and they told us, hey, in June of the following year, if you still feel New Horizons is where it should be, contact us at the end of the school year. So we did that. Richie was born 1 pound 6 ounces. My wedding band fit around his thigh. He fought for his life for 9 months. And we're in this fight where he has 2 years left of school and he needs to be in a more specialized program. More than what Ambridge has to offer. On-the-job training, manufacturing, culinary, all kinds of different programs where aides are out with the kids. They learn how to ride the bus, not a school bus, a regular bus, to get to and from jobs. More than what Ambridge has to offer at this point. We have time sensitive. Richie has 2 years left. 2 years left. Our intent was to get Richie in school, New Horizons, this year on opening day so he can sit there with the regular classroom. That didn't happen. It didn't happen. We called June 11th or whatever the Monday, it wasn't Monday because I know I don't, but Tuesday or Wednesday after the school year. Phone call after phone call, email after email got ignored. It came down to August where I took a week off work and came down to this school every day until I started getting an answer. I probably called half of you, I know my mother-in-law and other relatives called. That was when we started getting, and we stalled again. There's no communication, zero. You're on this committee because you were called to serve. You have kids, you want the best for your kids, and that's what we wanted. If you were trying to do something for your child, would you want a weekly email saying, this is where we're at? The form, as per our meeting last week, and his IEP last year, last 3 years, that's all the information they needed, but they wanted to redo it. The safeguards for the special needs kids on that form is a safeguard for the districts and the state. If you read through it line by line, it protects the state, the districts, the special needs advocates and all that more than it protects the child. There's nothing in there about a No Child Left Behind. I want to see Richie where he needs to be, and I will do anything to make that happen. I will make as much noise as I have to. I will be where I need to be to make this happen. My goal obviously has changed because the first day of school is over. But we started this process 4 months ago, and I know the special needs director has changed, but I'm dealing with Ambridge School District, not one person. Not one person telling me I don't have a staff over the summer. My mother-in-law called, my aunts have called. She said, I don't even know where your son lives because so many people called me. That's an insult and embarrassment to me because, I mean, any one of you would be hurt over a statement like that. And I've caused ruckus. I probably said some things I shouldn't have. I've probably been rude at times, but I'm fighting for my son, and I'll take all those hits, and I'll keep taking them. I would like to see this board expedite this process so we can get something, an answer by this Friday. We've been waiting too long for this to happen. I would like somebody to hold the Special Needs Service Department accountable for reaching out to the parent, because I know every parent in this room, and all you included, would not accept what I've been going through, what my wife's been going through, what my in-laws have been going through. And the only person that hurts is Richie, because he has 2 years left in a program like this where he has a shot to serve the community, to learn how to work in the community, to learn how to ride the bus in the community, to learn how to manufacture, to learn culinary. 19 years ago, he fought for his life. 1 pound 6 ounces, 9 months in a hospital, 10s and 20s of surgeries, and he made it through. and this feels like it did back then. It hurts us, and every day he asks, when do I get to go to the new school? I would just like some answers. When? Keep me in the loop. Because the perception we have is that Ambridge doesn't care about special needs kids. That's the perception that we have. It may not be the reality, but it's the perception. And when I know and I speak about this to friends, family, people out in the community, that's the perception I'm giving them. I want Richie in New Horizons School. It is the best place for him. The school doesn't know what's best for Richie. The state doesn't know what's best for Richie. Me and my wife, Brandy, know what's best for Richie. And we didn't just pick this out of a whim. So please help us. Thank you.
Mr. Buffalini?
Yes.
I think it is important for you to know that us not responding doesn't mean we're not hearing. Because legally, we are not able to discuss your child in an open forum. But please know that it is being heard.
Thank you.
Hi, Casey Devaney, Economy Borough. Just to second what he had to say, if you do all remember, I emailed the board last year, towards the end of the year, about a situation that I asked to be addressed for someone, and this seems like it's around the same about procedure, so I think that should be addressed. That's my personal 2 cents on that. The other thing is I know that we have schedules and we have this giant calendar that we use. Is there some reason why we can't look at it before we schedule events at the same building for all of these events, like open house and a school board meeting and volleyball all at the same building? There's no parking. And I don't want to hear, oh, no one attends school board meetings. I know, I'm here. No one attends. That's not an excuse, that's poor planning. And it needs to be addressed and taken into consideration. Because it happens more than once, on more than one occasion, and different events that are going on. Thank you.
Is there anyone else with any comments this evening?
I have a couple. I get some complaints on our technology division that we're not up to, the teachers are complaining that they're not up to snuff, the computers aren't working, the programs aren't programmed correctly. Can we get somebody on this to make sure that this is being taken care of, because it affects the learning abilities of the children?
If you have any particular examples, please give them to Lori after the meeting, so she can address those immediately.
Okay.
I know of 3 she took care of today, right, Laura?
Anything else, Roger?
That's it.
Anyone else with anything they'd like to address? If not, then I'll ask for a motion to adjourn to the executive session.
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Feder. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?